Hello everybody. We are at the time of the year once again when the St Vincent de Paul Society, the length and breadth of the country, take up its annual Christmas appeal. I welcome Mickey Lawless, President of the Society in the parishes of Ballinascreen and Desertmartin, to address us once again, as he does each year, on the importance and the need for the Christmas appeal in our own parishes. On behalf of all the priests and the people of the parishes of Ballinascreen and Desertmartin, I want to thank Mickey and all members of the Society for their commitment and hard work over this past year, and for what they will do over the next couple of weeks to make Christmas happen with your help in many homes. Thank you, and do place your contribution in an envelope marking it SVP and place it into any of the collection boxes at any of the chapels or through parish office doors or parochial house doors over the next week. Thank you.
To all of you listening at home, I can hardly believe that 2021 is almost behind us. Another year of our lives, another chapter in our respective stories. Recently, I've been thinking a great deal about stories. For what are we really without stories? The stories we tell. Tales of the everyday, how we spent our morning, what we had for our tea, who we bumped into in the street. Then there are the bigger narratives. Falling in love, losing a loved one, surviving a trauma. We are a community built on our collective stories. We gather together to witness the pouring of water when a new life joins our circle. We dance in celebration when vows are shared before the altar, and we stand in respectful silence as we lower our loved ones to the earth. The story that sits at the heart of this season, the Nativity, is one of survival and hope. It is one we recount and listen to again and again because story is vital. Because when all is said and done, we are the sum total of the shared experience, the stories we tell, the memories we recall. 2020 and 2021 wrote their own tales, and these were at times terribly bleak. Over the course of this period of global uncertainty, we have heard and witnessed our fair share of the unforgettable. These tales range from loss to loneliness, from images of bustling streets, a sea of uncertain eyes and surgical masks, to the joy of being reunited from those we were forced to be separated from. Yes, it is fair to say that over the past couple of years, we have written our share of tragedy. However, and it's an important however, the human race have become incredibly skilled at ensuring that even in literature's darkest narratives, we can be sure to find shreds of light, laughter, promise, and instruction. Most good and effective tales have a moral at their centre, a lesson. As I sat down to write this, the annual St Vincent de Paul Christmas Appeal, a story that I have told, retold, and reshaped over the years, I found myself wondering about the moral. What I had learned, what we have learned. At the other side of a decade of giving, writing and delivering this appeal, what is the takeaway message? Well, I figured it out. I figured out why it is that the St Vincent de Paul Society, charity of Ballinascreen, continues this mission year after year, and why it is that you, the people of Ballinascreen, keeps surpassing our expectations of generosity and goodwill, December after December after December. The answer is quite simple, and it is best summed up by telling you a very short and simple story that has stayed with me. The story of an act that I was a witness to last year when I got the chance to travel to England for the first time in months to see my grandchildren. My daughter had taken me to a garden centre for a wander and a cup of coffee. We're definitely not garden people, but we do like coffee. As well as the mandatory face coverings and sanitising stations, there was a very clear one-way system in place, and the system was being manned by a female member of staff. As we were waiting in the socially distanced queue, I noticed that a young mother pushing a buggy was clearly heading the wrong way in this one-way system. I watched as an anxious member of staff approached the young woman to tell her that she'd have to turn around. There's always something about those moments when you know that some kind of social code of conduct is about to be breached, and you can't help but anticipate the worst. I stood there, watching on, waiting for the confrontation, the embarrassment. I don't think I will ever let myself forget what happened next. It is a moment that has stayed with me. As the garden centre worker, fully masked and keeping her 2-metre distance, explained to the woman with the buggy that she had in fact breached the rules of the one-way flow of traffic, the young mother paused for a moment. Paused for the briefest of moments, and I instinctively waited for the backlash, the confrontation. It didn't come. What came instead was a reaction that inspired a moment of humanity for me that sums up perhaps why we're here, what it all means. For the young mum's face crumpled and she began to sob. I heard her try to apologise to the garden centre worker as she wept, and I watched as the staff member forgot for a moment that we were in the middle of a pandemic. She knew something was wrong and moved instinctively towards this young woman in distress, holding her and saying, "Please don't worry, it's going to be okay." It was in that moment that I saw not an act of defiance or a breaking of the law, but an instinctive human desire to connect. For whatever the landscape, be it war, famine, or global pandemic, goodness and compassion will always seek to move towards the suffering. It is a love that is hardwired. It is that love that keeps me coming back to you every Christmas, and it is that love that has kept the St. Vincent de Paul Society in action every week, every year. Your generosity is an ongoing tale, a story that refuses to burn out. Last year was a truly miraculous chapter, and I have no doubt that as we take in the collection this coming week, I will again be reminded of why, in a community such as this, darkness is only ever temporary. Before I sign off, I want to say a deeply felt thank you for your continuing to be a part of this story. Your generosity keeps the pages turning. The one thing we are always in search of are younger, fresher authors. My eyesight is definitely failing, and more hands, fresh ideas and stronger backs are always welcomed at St. Vincent de Paul. 2021 has been one of uncertainty, But the story ain't over yet. Let's guarantee a happy ending. God bless you all, and a happy Christmas.